Hi everybody, welcome to live. I'm sorry we're a few minutes late,
One
but
kid
here we
time
are.
Today.
Exactly, it's okay. No, it's look, it's what's going on now. So today we're talking about, the next 6 weeks of the year. There's a lot of shifting going on. Clearly, all over the world, there are truths coming out. Everything is being exposed. Everything is being just out in the open. So how does this resonate in our own lives? We are affected by all external energies. And the fact that all these truths are coming out around us, it can't help but have us really reflect on how much of our life are we living the truth, and how much of our life are we holding back, and how much in our life are we fearing? Like, what do you fear when you think of living your truth? Is it abandonment? Somebody going to get mad? They get mad, they get glad. And I know myself personally, I struggle with this kind of stuff because I would worry about, are they going to get mad? Are they going to not talk to me anymore? And you get to a point where you go, I deserve to know these things. And I'll tell you, by speaking up and either asking for the truth or getting to the bottom of how truthful your feelings really are and being honest about it, the responses are amazing me. Like when I do this, like I'm not afraid anymore. And everything is much more matter of fact than I had premeditated in my mind. I mean, we hold things back because we're so used to behaviors that we've seen. And I'm realizing that so many things have changed. And maybe I do live a little bit in the past and I'm ready not to do that anymore. The past is past. The past is over. And this year that we're coming into, this 2018, and we'll get more into it as it gets closer in one of our shows, but 2018, if you add up all the numbers, comes up to 11. And if you add the 1 and 1, you got a 2. And a 2 is all about partnerships, but it's also about creating. And you find, or I find personally, that if I've got stuff weighing on me, I can't be creative. If I've got stuff inside of me that I need to let go of, I can't create, and I can't really be who I am. And I feel like I'm getting more and more and more to who I am. So this new year is really going to be, if you want to fly with something on purpose, this year is going to be matching your purpose to create the life you want. And if people want to see it or not, this one consciousness of not holding things back anymore is really happening. I mean, look, you see it on TV. Pretty soon we're going to hear, probably, who knows, Gumby and Pokey something, I don't know. But it's just amazing. And it's not like we didn't know at some level all the things that we're finding out about. Don't go on. None of us live in a bubble. None of us really believe that the world's perfect and this would never happen. I'm just glad to see it coming out, and women and men standing up for themselves and getting rid of this burden of holding such a horrible, horrible, devastating emotion back. And I think we all have to kind of reflect on what we're holding back, and the freedom of letting it go. Like you watch them on TV and it's like you can see their aura just expanding, and that freedom of just telling the truth about, heavy stuff, heaviness.
So I was reading this morning when we were talking about this, that the last time we had these energies was in the year 2000.
Okay.
And
look at that, another 2.
Yeah. And so how much change, how much fear did we have going into 2000 because of Y2K, and how much understanding that we've gained on that whole thing, but that was a catalyst for change at that time. And look at, in the last 18 years, how much actually did change So it's just interesting
Absolutely.
when even saying, looking at the past and living in the past, that kind of helps us to really formulate where we're going. So if you can look at it, forgive it, learn from it, move forward, that's what we're about to approach again. And because in the year 2017 was really a year for us to figure out what it is that we wanted.
It was all about us.
What did we want, though? What is it that we're trying to get to? And so the year 2017 was like helping us birth the idea that we're going to take forward into 2018. So it's a really exciting time because so many people are awakening to this.
2017 like shook out the rug, baby. It shook out the
did.
rug. And everybody's still like coming down and getting their footing from it. But you know what? Both feet on the ground, running into 2018 and making it your best year yet.
Yeah.
I mean, really, just letting go of, your own boundaries. The only things that hold you back are what you're thinking in your mind. If you say, well, so-and-so keeps me from doing this, well, guess what? You're allowing so-and-so to keep you from doing that. And if you're like way down from like feeling guilty about things or worried about what somebody else is going to think or say, my theory is if you're not hurting anybody else by what you're doing for you, then that's what it's about. It's one thing to care about others, and clearly you understand that we do. Look, Kim likes to get them in the house of their dreams. I like to get them in the state of mind and health that they want to be. And it's really remarkable to see how many people that we didn't think were open that are around us. Because we always say, surround yourself with like people. Mm-hmm. And more I'm realizing that a lot more people are open than I ever thought before. And it's actually become and created like a learning experience even for me because, when you hear yourself, then you learn a little more because you heard it again. But from people's perceptions, and I think that going forward, I think that people are going to be less bogged down by the things that we've allowed ourselves to be trapped by. Even parenting and like parenting, that's a tricky subject. That's a whole other thing. I'm not going to get into that.
Right.
But like just so many more people are on this same wavelength. Spirituality, understanding the self. Mm-hmm. And we have all the energies that we need right now to make that happen. There's meditation, there's mindfulness, there's affirmations, there's healing modalities, there's Reiki, there's Jinshin, there's all kinds of things that can bring you into that consciousness of, everybody's wondering like, where am I going? What about my job? Am I staying in this? What's going to happen? And a remarkable thing the other day, a very close friend of mine was telling me that she's making a move in her business that to me is like she put on her big girl cowboy boots and that hat, and she is going to knock out anybody that's done wrong to her behind the scenes. And it's not about knocking somebody down, but it's about shedding all of the cover up of everything. And the more we hide and internalize things, the less we can stand it. Like I know I get to a point where like I go, I can't think like this anymore. I can't be in this place anymore. And these kinds of thoughts and things are getting me into this place. And I got one friend that calls me out on it just about every day, and I'm grateful for it because everybody needs somebody to like kind of sort things out when you're like in your your stuff.
Yeah.
And you really want to make each year that comes like your best year yet. Mm-hmm. Like all the lessons that we've learned, they're lessons. They're back there. You can't change them. We're moving forward. We're moving into a new year. Have the mindset. It's the best one ever. I was teaching a crystal grid class last night, and a young man in the class said to me, "So what do you do?" I said, "Well, from practicing all the things that I've learned over the years, I get up in the morning, I plan out my day, I see what I'm going to do. Sometimes I start the night before I go to sleep. Really start planning your days. Be realistic. And be realistic, okay? I'm not going to go jogging and under a rock there's going to be $1 million. Honey, be realistic, okay? Depend on you for the things that you want. That was a huge lesson for me, to really put responsibility in my corner. And if I need to do this, then I need to do whatever I have to do to get that and to do that. It doesn't come from dependence on other people or other things. And I got to tell you, it kind of feels like you shed a bunch of layers of stuff when you do that. And you got to start thinking in terms of, and because we're in a 1 year, me, how do I do this? What's it going to take for me to make this happen? And honestly, I have to say, it's gotten me farther personally than I've ever gotten myself before. And look at all these years that it took. And even though what I do, I started myself, and I've got it. It's everything is a learning experience. And this year should really be teaching us how powerful we are, how deserving we are, how we have to allow things to happen. We have to stay in a positive mindset. Affirmations are huge. I mean, my God, an affirmation. I am so grateful to be in a joyous space today. What does it take to say that every day? You know, Karen just got on Facebook and she's got like a positive thing every morning. I mean, you know, I might not get to it till later, but, you know, putting positive things out there. And it just happens. You don't know all the people that you're helping, you know, to get there when you do that. Just be yourself. Just be yourself. And look, I'm working on it. I'm feeling like I'm almost back to myself.
I was going to say that for us to do these shows every week, we are living and breathing the actual lessons every week, so that by the time we get here, we're like, it's like something. I just went through that lesson, and you know, we're just trying to help you through it and know that it's normal. I think
not only is it normal, but you wind up leaps and bounds. Even in a day, even in a minute, it's just a thought.
It's just a thought.
And it's really like, this is the time. Take the bull by the horns and just go for it, whatever it is you want. Make it happen now. If you need to change, we talked last week about, you know, holidays and how you have to spend them doing that. No, you really don't. No, you really don't. I understand tradition. I understand family. I understand family on many different levels. But tradition, maybe it's time for a new tradition. You know what I mean? So, you know, everybody grows up. Well, not everybody, but, you know, we read fairy tales when we're little. We don't know that they're not real. We think we're going to grow up and be Cinderella. Do you know what I mean? I remember being devastated when I found out Bewitched wasn't real when I was like 8. I'm like, you can't touch your nose and make things happen? Like, seriously. I really did live in that world. What do you mean leave it to Beaver and June Cleaver? What do you mean everybody's mom isn't like that? But seriously, really getting a grip on what your truth is and where you want to be, and really take that time to meditate on it. Be fully aware of what it is you need and what your needs are and what you want. Working together with other people gently and compassionately. What did you do today nice for somebody? What did you put out there today that was nice, that maybe somebody that needs to hear something like that actually heard and benefited from it? You know, I always look, like, even when I do my newsletters, I'm thinking, how are they going to benefit from this? What can I put in the subject line? I want them to know that they're going to benefit. I'm pouring my heart out here to help somebody that may hear one thing that's going to help them, because these are really treacherous times we're living in. And even though what's happening out here doesn't physically or directly today affect us, it affects us on a mental and emotional level. And that does change our vibration and our perception of things. And being able to live our truth and be in our space helps us to deal with what's going on and have compassion and help where we can, you know, donations and things like that. But it doesn't mean that your life has to stop. This is a huge lesson for us, that life goes on and we have to keep going. And there's some things that we can do nothing about, but there's everything in our life that we can do about. There's nothing in our life that we cannot do and achieve. And I think that once you just kind of get that and it clicks, 2018 is going to be a fantastic year for everyone. Mm-hmm. It really is.
And I think that a lot of the unrest that we've had this year is everybody figuring out that this isn't what I want, and trying to, and just so much going on around us. But too also has peacefulness in it, and so that's another thing, and receiving, and so there's just so much, like if we can get to that peaceful state,
yes,
and generate exactly what it is that we're looking to do. Will help everyone.
Absolutely.
And that's what we've been doing in this year. That's what this has been doing too. It's just everybody's coming aware and realizing, and just being able to internalize and then put back out what it is that you're looking to do, and realize your power.
It's not really that hard to say, I could do that, but right now is not a good time because it wasn't in your plan. How many times have you changed your plans to accommodate somebody who, like, I'm telling you, and then you get angry, and all right, so I've been accused of like stuffing feelings, and I know that I do that because I don't like confrontation. And now I've gotten to a point where I go, it doesn't have to be confrontational. I can just kind of say my piece. And
I think the other thing, if you can get to the place of you be you, I'm going to be me, and how you respond next, rather than reacting. And we talked about that in
and it's a lot about judgment.
Yes.
I mean, it's a lot about judgment. Like, don't be judgmental, and maybe it'll take a little edge off of feeling like people are judging you. Mm-hmm. Like, seriously, like, people that throw all this negative stuff out, I don't even look at it. Like, I change the page or something. And my first thought is, how bad could it be that this is all they could put out there today to share? Like, sharing, like, anger, and sharing, like, there's just, and look, everybody's talking about, like, sometimes you just have to cut some people loose and not have them in your life anymore. And I think this year's going to bring a lot of that happening. Communication. And in communicating, truth is like a really huge thing. Sometimes when you communicate, people get really defensive, and you have to kind of figure that into the equation before you go into the conversation. And while you're there, remember not to get defensive. And, I said to somebody last night, when you're about to do something, and even though I don't do this every time, I really have wholeheartedly practiced this. I ask myself, if I say this or I do this, am I coming from a place of love? It has helped tremendously, tremendously, to stop and think before I speak. I'm getting better. I'm working on it. I really am. I'm working on it.
Yeah, I am.
So, and you don't ever know what's going through somebody else's head. You don't know where they've been or how they've lived or why they've come to the place where they are. You don't know that. Look, a lot of people don't know a lot about my history, and I'm an open book. Like, I'm not embarrassed about the things that I've gone through. A lot of times people are like, oh my God, you've been married 3 times. Well, at least after I wasn't happy the first time, I kept going. And the thing is, things happen. And everybody's an experience in your life. And a lesson. And I feel more sorry for the people that haven't gotten the lesson. I feel more sorry for the people that stayed in a relationship that didn't work for 30 or 40 years. Like, hello, I didn't want to waste. Look, you know what? Life's too precious and life's too short to spend 1 minute not living not only in your truth, but being really who you are, true to your feelings, true to the people around you, And if you're not true here, then you're not true to anybody around you. And letting go of premeditated fears and stuff, it works wonders. It's just an amazing, life.
Yeah.
It really is. And it only gets better. It only gets better. I mean, I don't know about you, but I'm really looking forward to 2018. That whole energy of creating and this help that we're having because of the universal forces. And those of you that want to go woo-woo, whatever, with the universe, I'm telling you, everybody looks out for a full moon. That's not because of Hollywood. A full moon puts everybody's emotions in an uproar. The moon relates to emotions, the mother, the fluidity of the body. It's scientifically proven. So think what you want. So if a full moon can have that much effect on us, what makes you think that the numbers don't? And not for anything, if you don't know about the numbers and you don't know how they work, there's actually days that are better than others to do things because of the vibration of the numbers. So, taking all of this into consideration, maybe it's time that you were a little more open and you did seek these things out to, help yourself and to know your options and to really free yourself of anything that's holding you back. Because if you're sitting there saying, oh, I wish my life was this, well, you know what? Keep on wishing, and you're going to be wishing the rest of your life. But if you sit there today and go, you know what? There's a few more weeks left to this year. I want to make it the best couple of weeks that I have, because going into 2018, I'm pulling out all the stops. Yep. I'm pulling out all the stops. I'm going to create everything I put my mind to this year, and nothing is going to stop me. Nothing is going to stop me.
And speaking of the moon cycles, we have a new moon Saturday. And so the new moon actually speaks to pretty much everything we just talked to as well.
Do you know what it's in?
Scorpio, I think.
Scorpio, getting the job done.
Mm-hmm. And so...
helpful people.
Is it Scorpio? Did you see it? Yeah. So we have that, which I just read up real quick on it this morning too. And it's talking about, it always does, planting your seeds, releasing what you don't want in your life. It's so much geared towards going towards the new year. So even if you don't believe in the woo-woo, like Phyllis says, at least take advantage of the energy at hand. Take our word for it. It's available to you. Take the opportunity to plant the seeds that you want to have. We're prime going into the next 6 weeks of holiday season. And if you can look forward to all of that, I think that alone will help you create new traditions for your holiday season and for 2018.
Absolutely. So
thank you for joining us.
Thank you for joining us today. I hope this was helpful. I hope you get comfortable in your own skin, and it gives you the inspiration that you need to really plan your next year, the next 6 weeks, preparing for it, and 2018, make it like the best. And you know what? Over the next 6 weeks, maybe we'll do some steps and things to kind of help you get out. And we always ask you, please, give us questions, inbox us, topics you want to know about, whatever we can do to help. And we want to thank everybody that joined us today: Anthony, Laura, Sandy, Karen, Linda, Tara. And if there's anybody else out there that we don't know, thank you so much for joining us. And if you know somebody that might be helped by watching this, definitely turn them on to it. And we love you. Have a great weekend. See you next Wednesday.